Good afternoon. So I guess yesterday we saw that the majority of the world's diplomats are a lot smarter and more moral than the majority of the US Congress. At least at the United Nations, Bibi only got one standing ovation from 4 people, and we don't know if they were standing up to see over the heads of everyone who was walking out. Now, I am very glad that on the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, that we have a patriot in Kingston, namely Gerald Celente, who is keeping the American practice of the town hall alive. I've been wondering for the last several months whether an administration which is not bothered by genocide in Gaza actually can end the war in Ukraine. And I think the jury is still out on that. It's been a very long time since our nation was led by a statesman. And our nation is very divided as a result. So what should we do? We have to stop playing politics as usual. Politics should not be a gambling event, a sports event, a tribal event. The advantage we have today, which will not feel like an advantage to those of you, if there's anyone here who has a lot of money invested in the stock market, is that this entire $2 quadrillion bubble of derivatives obligations is coming down. It's going to crash. And I think that's a great thing, because it means the billionaires who think that they run the world are going to discover that they actually don't. They know this, and although they think we're stupid and don't know it, we know it too, or we should. This is why they are willing to risk launching nuclear war and are launching wars everywhere. And if they blow up the entire planet, they have the advantage that they'll never have to make good on all their gambling debt. Plus, they make a lot of money selling weapons. But what this means is that we will have a moment of great opportunity where we can scrap the whole rotten system and build something new, something modeled on the best traditions of our republic, like Alexander Hamilton's national bank and credit policy, Abraham Lincoln's greenbacks, or Franklin Roosevelt's use of the Reconstruction Finance Corporation to build thousands of new hospitals, schools, and power plants across the nation. The thing I worry about is that we, the American people, are going to be so busy arguing about stupid, divisive issues that we will miss the moment when we can make this change. What the mainstream media, which is really just an arm of the tripartite MI6 CIA Mossad apparatus, is not telling us is that about 6 billion people on this planet have left the colonial order. They don't hate us. They just refuse to be victimized by British colonial policies. These are the nations of the BRICS Plus, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Eurasian Economic Union, and more. Ethiopia just brought the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam online, and now they've just signed a contract with Rosatom to build a nuclear power plant. This will bring abundant energy to that region. Nigeria finally has its own oil refinery. It doesn't have to rely on the British to refine their oil. And they could use about 75,000 new tractors to upgrade their agriculture. I wonder who makes tractors? Who could supply Nigeria with 75,000 tractors? Anyone heard of John Deere and Caterpillar? Might be a better use than bulldozing buildings in Gaza. Brazil just signed an MOU with China to build at long last the first transcontinental railroad in South America, the Bioceanic Rail Corridor, which will end up at the Shanghai port in Peru. Russia and China are planning to build a nuclear power plant on the moon to power an industrial base which will facilitate human space exploration. There is a great shift occurring in the world, and if we were in our right minds, we would rejoice at the sight of so many of our brothers and sisters across the globe rejecting the evils of colonialism and declaring their independence. The steadfast courage and the unimaginable suffering of the people of Palestine, which has been broadcast to the eyes of the world, has shattered the arrogant pretense of the so-called civilized nations of the West. Everyone can see it, and they are choosing another path. They are choosing the path lighted by the words, "All men are created equal and endowed with their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." The president of Indonesia just this week at the United Nations told us that those words changed the world. Since, thanks to Gerald Celente, we are gathered here today at the historic revolutionary city of Kingston, and because it is the 250th anniversary of our nation, perhaps we should celebrate by getting off our high horse and walking beside the brethren of the global majority and reclaim our identity as equals.